I'm Marilyn, just in case you're new here. And I just wanted to chat with you and just, have a community of people that might be interested in some of the things that I do. And one of the things that I did this week, getting ready for Earth Day, was to do some dyeing. And I wanted to do some natural dyeing. A couple of years ago, I went to a festival in New York. I said that we went to Upper New York because we went past New York City. I know we went past New York City because we saw all the exits going into Manhattan and all of these places. So I know I was past New York City, but according to what I'm understanding, I was not in upstate New York. I was kind of like midway. But anyway, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. We went in October. And oh my gosh, I have never, it was like driving through a picturesque scene. And I've got some pictures and I'll put them up here for you so you can see them. But I went to this one vendor and she was selling natural dyes, and it was called Bengala, and it is from Japan. And this particular color that I bought, it reminds me of the earthen clay colors, and I really loved it, and I thought it would be really pretty. Well, I brought it home. 2 years later, I decided, you know what? I think I'm going to get out my wool and do some dyeing. And I saw it and I thought, I'm going to try this. Now, just remember, I don't know anything about it. This was my first try, and I did make some mistakes. And I'm glad I found those mistakes, because when I got finished, I was ready to wrap them up and put them on my website to sell. But I'm glad I didn't, because when I was making the video, I found out that the dye was not dye fast. It was coming out on my punch rug fabric. And I'm going to show it to you. Hold on. Let me get it. Actually, let me just show all of it to you while I'm at it. So, this is the color. It is so pretty. It just reminds me of clay. It reminds me of the earth. And it has a numerical number in it, but I did 4 skeins of it. Well, not skeins, but hanks of it. And it averaged out to be a pound. Okay, a pound of fabric. Well, it said on the packaging that it would dye up to 5 t-shirts. So I went in and I put it in there thinking I'll put it in the tub just like it said. I washed these just like it said. And I didn't wash them. It said to make sure that I made sure that the wool was wet before I put it into the dye bath. And I did. I let it sit for a while, and I probably let it sit for an hour. But the one thing that I did not do, which I'm wondering if that has anything to do with it, and if you know, put it down in the comments for me, because I'm learning and I really want to know what I'm doing wrong. I haven't reached out to the company yet. I will, and I'm sure I will get some really good vibes from them. And again, I'll put their description down below so you can see it if you decide that you wanted to, do some dyeing. But I didn't put the mordant in the bath to get the wool ready. I put the mordant, which I used alum, I put it in the dye bath. And I thought that was okay, because I'm used to doing that with the chemical dyes, the acid dyes that I use. I'm used to putting the citric acid into the dye bath after I've put the wool in there, and then it makes it grab all of the dye. Okay. Well, so I thought that's what the mordant would do for, the alum would do for this. Evidently, I'm totally wrong, because when I got finished with it, and it said on the packaging that I only needed to leave it in there for about 30 minutes, I left it in a good hour and a half. Way too much, and I'm wondering if my length of time was too much on it. But anyway, it came out beautiful. The color came out beautiful, but the dye bath was just as orange as it was when I put it in there. And I thought that it said that it would be clear, the same way that it is when you do acid dyes. Well, it was not. So again, if anybody knows what I'm doing wrong, I would love some comments on it. So when I got finished, I took it out and I immediately hung it up to dry outside. It said, let it dry in the sun. So I did. At least I thought I did. I left it out in the sun that day, and then I put it in the workroom and let it dry that night. And then the next day I got out and I said, okay, well, I'm going to make my video, and then I'm going to get my my wool ready so I can put it on the website. Well, I was going to show a part in my video. I was going to show how to rug punch. So I had gotten up my number 10 out and I started to rug punch, but look what happened. All the color was coming off on the fabric. And I thought to myself, well, wait a minute now, why is it doing that? Because it said I did not have to rinse. But then it said when you wanted to, you could wash it a couple of times and then it would be color fast. Well, I don't want it to bleed on everything. If it were to have a glass of water poured over it, I wouldn't want it to bleed. So I was really worried about that. So I stopped videoing after I pulled it out. I was showing everybody how to pull out, your work. And then by gosh, I looked at it and I said, well, this isn't going to work. I cannot use this. So I took the yarn, I went and got the instructions. And one of the things that it did say was after it must thoroughly dry. Well, I only let it dry for 24 hours. And if you think about it, wool takes a very long time to dry because you're not putting it in the dryer. You don't want to felt it. So you don't want to put it in the dryer. You want it to dry naturally. And 24 hours is not enough, especially if it's as thick as this yarn is, because when you're doing it, and if you actually, unfolded it, it's 3-ply, 4-ply yarn. And so it probably, whenever I was punching it, it wasn't dry yet. And so the sun had not set it. Now, I'm just supposing all of this. I'm hypothesizing that this is what it is. This is what's happened. So if you are more savvy about it than I am, I would love to know what your thoughts are on it. Anyway, so I went and took it back inside. I put it in the sink, in the kitchen sink. I put some Dawn, just a tiny bit of Dawn, just a drop of Dawn in it. And oh my gosh, the water was orange. I mean, it was absolutely orange. And I did it like 5 or 6 times. It finally got to be pretty clear. And once it got clear, I let it soak a little while. And then once it got clear, you're supposed to knead it a little bit, not squish it, especially with wool. You're not supposed to do that. So what I did was, I let it sit for a little while, and then I kneaded it, and I pressed it down, got the towel, pressed it down, and then I came back and I put it back out in the sun. I let it dry all day. Let's see, today is Tuesday. I let it dry Sunday. Sunday night is when I put it back out in the sun, because I was going to post this on Easter Sunday. And then I let it sit out on that afternoon. That was about in the mid-afternoon. I set it out and I let it dry. Then I brought it in, and then I took it back out yesterday, let it stay out in the sun, because again, it said sun will set it. And I brought it in, and then it's been sitting out all day. Now, it's not as sunny today. It's been kind of cloudy, but it's still gotten the natural air and all that. And so now I'm thinking it might be dry, but I'm not going to try it yet. I'm going to give it another day. I'm going to give it 3 or 4 days to really, really dry. And then I'm going to punch, and I'm going to see if it works. And I'll let you know how that goes. As I was finishing up the yarn, the first time there was so much color still left in the box. I said, well, in the pan. And what's the beauty of this? You can just pour it out on the grass because it's just dirt. That's all it is. It's dirt. And but what I was getting at was, as I went in, and I have a whole bunch of white fabric, yarn, wool, and as I cut some off, and I did this, and look how really pretty. It's a champagne-y pink, earthy color. It's gorgeous. I'm going to design another wall hanging for my Christmas collection. I'm going to do that with this, and so this will be on my website as well, but it's going to be in as a kit. And those of you who want to do some eco-friendly natural dyeing on Earth Day, it's just the best dye. Again, it's called Bengala, and I'll put it in the chat box for you, or in the down below for you. A lot of people go in and buy things, and they go to the smaller or the big box stores, and they buy something, and they come in and they don't find that it's working, and it's not working for them, and they get really discouraged. One thing that I did find whenever I was, when I first started this, I said I want to always use wool, I want to use the best frames, and I want to use the best hooks. If you do that, then everything else will come together. And that's what I'm finding with what we're putting together. Well, anyway, I just wanted to say hi. Happy Earth Day. I wanted to show you about my wool. If you have any ideas for me about what I've done wrong, let me know. In the meantime, I'm going to do some research. I'm going to add some links and all that below for you so that you can go and visit the websites that I've been visiting. And then we'll go from there. I just wanted to share with you and say, again, happy Earth Day. And check out my website, Goldenrod Primitives, if you would like. I do have some yarns, and I'm having some success with my yarns. Now, the yarns that are on there, except for one, there is one. Oh, and I can show it to you. This one, I know I keep going back and forth, but that's okay. My videos, I'm not doing these like, I just want to chat. This is wool yarn that I dyed with goldenrod flowers that were in our yard. Well, when I say our yard, our field in the back. The goldenrod, I went out there and picked the goldenrod, brought it in, put it in a pan, and dyed the yarn. Had no idea what I was doing. I even used citric acid, thinking that that's what I was supposed to use, and I'm supposed to be using alum. But it worked. It worked. It's beautiful. And what I love about this natural yarn stuff is there's no divisions, no gradients of the yarn. There's no spots that got missed. It just picks it up beautifully. Anyway, so here's my goldenrod. There's my earth. Haven't decided what I want to call it yet. But anyway, check the website out and see what you think. And we'll go from there. All right, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful day and happy Earth Day. Bye-bye.